Today is the day that the Father has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. So, in this video, I just want to talk a little bit about the world and something that I have discovered that I had to take some time. Excuse me, guys. I had to take some time to evaluate things before I really spoke on it. And I'm still evaluating, but we are definitely living in some interesting times. I think it's Matthew 24, baby. I think it's end times, okay? Can't nobody tell me we ain't in the book of Revelations. But it's something that's very huge, especially in I'll say our neck of the woods, speaking in parables, so to say, as our Savior did. And how they say nowadays, if you know, right? The trendy words, keep your head on the swivel. But anyways, crashing out. A lot of people crashing out now. It's so amazing how they come up with these trending words. And it's so fitting for the time. It's you start saying it and it's like you manifest the words, right? It's amazing. But anyways, I've been told y'all about that. But I don't cast my pearl to swine much anymore nowadays. So anyways, that's why I don't be on here much anymore. But listen to those who do like to hear a couple of gems. So I've been trying to figure out the mindset of a particular hive-minded people. And I ain't talking about the beehive this time. I'm not talking about them. However, it's another hive-minded people. These hive-minded people, they definitely follow a particular one. And this particular one, I tell you the truth. Though some people think that this one is of the Bible. I mean, he might have the spirit of that man, but he is not that man. He might have the spirit of the end times man, but he is not him. But the followers of this group, this particular culture, I've come to find out they have a particular mindset. I don't care if they black, they white, they old, they young. And what I've come to find out about these people is that God truly, the Father truly exposes their hearts. And it truly is a separation of the sheep and the goats, the wheat and the tares. Because the people that is behind this particular culture, when I dug into it and looked at it and examined it and pulled out the stops, because these people, they're from different forms of life, Some of them, like I say, they're white, they're black, they're men, they're women, they're old, they're young. Some is blue collar, white collar, some are, military, ex-military. Some are business owners, some are. But the one thing I noticed that they all have in common is this one thing. Money. Money. And that is the bait. The money is the bait. That's the little worm on the hook that's being used to have them be followers in the culture that they is in. That mind, that beehive mindset. Not the Beyonce's, but this one is way bigger than Beyonce. Yeah. He, yes, has a particular following. Now, I noticed they all love money. That's what I noticed. They all love money, and they love the golden part of the money. They love money, and they crave it, and they seek it, and they'll do anything for it. And they don't care who happens to be hurt or harmed as long as they get to it. I saw one of them talking about, it's a particular housing program that's about to be cut off. Now, this person is black. a black female, used to be a copper, by the way, and claimed to be Christian, claimed to be a prophet, all of that, and they may be. Look, but they said, and see, they won't say it out loud. They'll just say it on the little post thing, right? But they say, oh, Section 8 about to get cut off. And somebody said, well, what about the disabled? What about the veterans? What about the poor? Yeah, what about them? You know? People, they laugh, now this is about to be cut, that is about to be cut, this is about to be done with, that is about to be done with. Oh, they're laying this one off, they're laying that one off. Oh, because see, the wheels on the bus that goes round and round has not made it and knocked on their door yet. But here's the thing. All will be affected on some particular level. But here's the thing. They really believe, no matter how much Father has told them this black horse is riding through, baby, they really believe they ain't gonna be touched. See, that's the interesting part. But see, you can ask them federal people, yeah, who got that pink slip. Yeah, and who was laughing at them? Not the blue collar people. Remember, the blue collar people were laughing at them until it hit their farms. And then who was laughing at them? Oh, not the not the longshoremen. You see what I'm saying? To hit, and then everybody getting hit. The dominoes are lying down. And people still laughing at people. But I'm like, this is so interesting. Because, see, what you don't understand is it's a house of cards, baby. And all it takes is you to pull a card. That's it. The whole thing fall. Because as you know, as the melanated community like to say, it's the supremacy. It is a supremacy. It is a supremacy. And if you are not at the very top of that supremacy, you are doomed to fall. Even some of them at the very top is going to fall of this, okay? Because God, he going to let them help run out the judgment, okay? He going to help them run out the judgment on the people, and then God going to do his own judgment on them. But listen, and how I know? For the Bible tells me so. But the thing they all have in common is they think they're going to get this money, this colorful money. They think they're going to get this gold and silver just stacked up for them. They think they going to get this wealth. They think that's what they think. That's what they think. They think they're gonna get the jobs, and they think that the factory's gonna be factoring, and of course, even if it was so, they wouldn't work in it, right? So they claim, baby, you gonna be out there right where them people was, where they was talking about who gonna be out there in the fields picking you. Because you're going to be growing your own fields in your own backyard. Because ain't nothing coming through. You sure is. So while you was around here picking on them, talking about how they selling stuff on the side, and black people definitely need to be ashamed of they self talking about somebody else like that. So while they up there selling their fruit on the side of the highways and the byways, trying to do a good living, right? Something not illegal, right? Pun intended, not right. But now you talking about, well, who gonna do it? You gonna do it, or you ain't gonna eat. Because guess what? Though you say you ain't gonna do it out there with the farmer in the dale, how you gonna eat, boo? You gonna learn how to make a community garden today, even if it's your own. Y'all, this is so interesting to me. It is just so interesting to me because you see the true hearts of people and how cold and heartless people. Listen, I already knew people was cold and heartless. You see, I knew they was cold and heartless because I have been put in a particular position to have to ask people for help. So I already knew people was cold and heartless. That didn't nobody have to tell me that much. I knew that for myself, okay? But to see, I thought it was maybe because people didn't like me. I thought maybe they didn't like my personality. I thought maybe I just, you know. But come to find out, people just cold and heartless. It's not really me so much. Though I know it is me because the light in me is a threat to those. But people really love have waxed cold, as the Bible has said. It really has. Because for you to make fun of people losing their jobs for no reason at all whatsoever, except they happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, that's wicked. That's evil. These people ain't even done you nothing. You see what I'm saying? For you to be happy that people, families are being like how my ancestors, when they got over here, forced into what they call it now, they call it involuntary work. That's the proper, white guiltless way of saying it, right? Which we know is slavery. But to see people, families, like how our families was, on the chopping block, quite literally being sold off, wife here, husband there, children here and there. And to see the same thing happening to another people right now, and the way that people react, people have no heart. And you know what? I say, bring it on, God. Bring on the judgment. Bring it on. It's just really, it's making me say, God, Father, I get it. I'm getting you more and more every day. I'm getting you. You see what I'm saying? Because even though I even pray for the wicked and hope that they turn and hope that their hearts will be converted, because I was wicked. You was, most of us, we always wicked, right? And I'm thinking it's gotta be a piece of love somewhere in there. And this particular people, I don't see any love. I don't see any love. I don't see any love in these people that follow this particular hive mindset. And it's because the root is because money is the root. Or not money, the love of money. Not money. The love of money. See, what the love of money is the root to all evil. And what this is revealing, what the Father is revealing to us, is people who have an idol. And that idol ain't even the leader. The idol is really money. That's the real idol. That's the real, because see, that's what this person is promising. They're promising money and glory and all the things that come with the money, the pride of it all, proud to be, so it's the money though, it's the root. And I said, because how could people be so evil? But it's the root. It's rooted. It's deep. It's that oak tree. It's roots in the heart. It's roots. It's planted. That seed is deep down in there. And that's how they can be evil like that. That's exactly how they can be evil like that. And so as the Father tells me, this depression 3.0 rolled through, I'm here for it. I am so here for it, because I'm hurt. I am hurt that people can be so evil. They can be so wicked. They can be so cruel. Like I said, I thought it was just me. I get it. I don't have the best personality, or I got the too real for you personality, but I'm going to keep it real, baby. And if you don't like it, I understand. I ain't trying to hurt your feelings, or I might ask certain questions and that might offend you because you think you all of that or whatever. I'm not trying to be mean, but who got time for all of that? We're trying to cut straight to the chase. We don't have time for that. Don't y'all see time speeding up? Y'all don't see how they playing with time. Y'all don't see the spells of the time working. They even taking you back in time. But anyways, I digress, but I don't. So that's what's going on. That's why these people are so evil and so wicked. Because they have a love, they have an idol, and that idol is money. And that is why they will be destroyed. I was just reading Zechariah. What was it? Zechariah chapter. And I may be wrong here. 'Cause I read the whole book in one day, but I want to say it was like 6 or 7. And in there, the Father was explaining to me why some of these things, this black horse is about to ride. And in there, he was explaining to me, all right, that it's because of the oppression of the poor, the oppression of the widow, the oppression of the orphan, and how they had the foot of the people in that land was on their necks, and how they cried, take your foot off my neck. Now, you got to go and read it for yourself. This is my version. Take your foot off my neck. Release some of the pain and the pressure off of my neck. But they wouldn't. They continue to put their foot, not only the people, the little people, the big people, they created laws. They made it illegal to be, homeless, for example. They made it, hard. You need $500 million times the amount of rent in order to get in with the credit score just to have shelter. They made it hard. They oppressed them, right? And then that's the top. But then as you get down to the bottom, the have-nots that think they have, then they do the same doggone thing. They oppress you with their businesses, they small business, they big business, And we just saw a particular country come out and say, hey, listen, you paying $50,000 for this bag, but it only costs $300 to make this bag. So, so the oppression, but it's not just bags, baby. It's everything, okay? So if you think it costs $100,000 to have a baby in a hospital, I'm just saying the oppression of it all. And then you have the oppression of the lesser and the lesser. So, and as I was reading Zechariah, the Father was showing me, listen, the oppression is real. But you know what? Table about to turn. The table about to turn, and it's not only going to turn on the upper, but on the lower. And because, guess what? Because the people that put the oppression on the widow, on the orphan, and on the poor, yeah, because they did that, when they get oppressed with my oppression, right? When they get this here, when they get these paws right here, I ain't gonna hear them. You know why? He said, I will not hear them call my name. I will not hear them pray to me. I'm not gonna hear them. And you know why? Because they did not hear when the foot was on the neck of the widow, of the orphan, and on the needy, on the poor, right? And so go read that, Zechariah. Like I say, I think it's 6 or 7. It was 2 chapters where he was explaining that part to me. And I said, he said, therefore, when these shelves get empty, right? Therefore, when their businesses hang low, see, they think they good now because they content creators and they getting paid all this money. But when they people can't keep giving them the cash out, right? Because now they hurting, right? He said, when the advertisers can't do the ads no more, the Google ads, yeah, they gonna call me. They gonna call my name. That's what he said. But he said, according to that verse, I ain't gonna hear them though. See, I ain't gonna hear them, especially the ones that claim to be mine, because see, my children have a heart they have a fleshy heart. The ones that claim to be mine, they're the ones that's supposed to be out here helping people. Okay, they're the ones supposed to be out here going to the prisons, visiting the prisoners, right? They're the ones that's supposed to be out here. When did we do this, Lord? When did we feed you, Father? Remember that scripture he said where they said, when did we see you and we fed you? When was you thirsty and we gave you something to drink? When was you naked and we gave you clothing? Remember that? Okay, yeah. He said, when you did it to the least of these, you did it to me. But guess what? When you didn't do it to the least of these, you didn't do it for me neither. And so, especially for the ones that say, oh, I believe in, yeah, I'm not going to hear you. I'm not going to hear you. I'm not going to hear you. When this medicine that's supposed to be I'm not going to be hearing you. Yeah, that's the way that's going to work right there. So, it's kind of like, people say, oh, that Jesus, he's so loving. And they never want to talk about the daddy. They never want to talk about the eye for the eye and the tooth for the tooth. And the one, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, the captivity, you go into captivity. They don't never like to talk about him. But he kind of showed his face to me and Zechariah when he said, yeah, the same way they oppressed. Yeah, they about to get some oppression going on over there. You see what I'm saying? And so these are the things that's going on. And it's just greatly disappointing when you see that people do it in the name of, their religion. I'll make another video on that sometime, whenever, whatever. But, a lot of things are being revealed. As far as prophecy, starting to see how things are going to be pieced together. I'm starting to see how the so-called Christian faith is going to be hated, especially when you have a leader that ain't even a Christian, but claim to be, and the way they treat people and how the people that's part of that hive mind, how they treat people, right? And so people are going to say those are some wicked people. And that's why I left Christianity a long time ago. Y'all know, I'll tell you in a heartbeat, I will follow the Messiah all day long. I will follow the Lamb wherever he go. But that Christianity, baby, y'all can leave the world behind on that one, because those people is wicked. I've been detached away from that mess a long time ago. They don't do nothing that the Messiah say do. They don't follow nothing in his ways. Yeah, sure, they act like they all of this and they act proper and they say, yeah, hey fam, what's up? What's up, fam and sister and brother? Like they really care about you. But then you see them stab them up right in the face before the person turn around. Child, get out my face. Get out my face. I don't need to be politically correct. I need to just be me. That's it. I'd rather just be me, and I don't need to be a Christian to do that. Okay, thank you. I just need to follow the Lamb. That's right. Wherever he goes. Okay? Yeah. And so, yeah, that's that part. But I can see how people are going to start hating them. I can see how you're going to have a target on your back now if you carry that name. So don't come to me talking about, oh, you trying to run away from the baby. I've been left Christianity a long time ago, and I've been told people the only reason why I use that word is so people can kind of identify. But then I quick to bring you to know, baby, I don't celebrate nothing that Christians. I don't celebrate none of their pagan holidays, from the Easter to the Christmas to the. I celebrate what? And I'm learning to celebrate the holy days. Okay. I don't do that. Okay. I'm not with the birthdays anymore. I'm not with the holidays anymore. I try to do the commandments as much as I can while they're breaking all the things. Okay. So That's why I separate myself from, Constantine Christianity. All right, we got that. But I can see now a lot. It's like the the Father is showing me so much to how this end time thing is gonna work, just based off of the word, prophecies I've heard from people in the Bible, dreams I've had, words He's given me, visions He's given me, and things. I'm like, oh, this how this gonna be coming to a theater near you. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's what that is. But this whole situation, it's interesting. It's real interesting about just how everything is kind of playing out. And I'm here. I got my popcorn. I got my wine. I got all of that because, see, it's time, especially for the melanated people. It's time for you to sit back, relax, and chill. Jacob, your trouble coming soon. Chill. Because, see, others, they about to be in the bed with you. See, they don't know what it's like to be having Jacob's trouble yet. But you see, that's why they protested in them streets, because they starting to see what it's like to be a niglet now. Yeah, they see this train that's coming down the track. And this train that's coming down the track, it don't discriminate a whole lot. Because, see, this train that's coming down the track is coming for everybody. Everybody gets to be a niglet. You don't just have to be cool and rap like a niglet and dance and do the little challenge like a niglet and, culture appropriate like a niglet. No, you get the burdens of the nigglets too. You get those same burdens of, oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to find a job and I'm getting laid off and why am I getting fired? I did nothing and it's hard to find a place and all the heartaches of the nigglets. I think the Bible says it this way. The last will be first and the first, finish it for me. That's right, will be last. So, as Madonna said, we're all in this thing together, baby. Yeah, all in this thing together now. No more separation. Yeah. And it's about to get really scary. It's about to get really scary as we see the things of the things coming, as we see the false prophets profiting, right? As we see them arising, even though we know they fake, they false, they definitely not Revelation 13, baby. But we see you over there acting like you something that you ain't over there, dressed up in all that black, dude. Satan coming with white on. Like, Satan gonna have all the white on. Like, come on, stop playing with me today. Come on, look, don't insult our intelligence today. All right, our Father has taught us about the devil and his devices. Okay, but those that want to fall for the okie doke, go ahead and fall for it. That's cool too, and believe that fake thing over there is the real thing. That thing is fake. That thing is fake. The real anti would never. Okay? The real anti gonna come in cool, clean, crisp, baby. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey. Yeah. So don't play with me. Don't play with me. My emotions like that. But anyways, so it's just a whole lot going on. It's like I'm reading Matthew 24, and I mean, it's like back to back, nations against nation, kingdom against kingdom, India and Pakistan, Taiwan and China, Russia and Ukraine, white people and black people, Carmelo and the lady and the little boy it's like, oh my goodness, wow, the persecution of the Christians, as we've been seeing that going on. And once again, child, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Then the diddlers diddling. Then they got that. Then they got the Shannon sharpening the. It's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. But the thing is, the key to it all, right? While we watching and seeing which them Laws you're gonna be dodging. Get it, get it. Hey, you gotta dodge it because there's so many of them fiery, yeah, darts coming for people. It's spiritual, right? So can you dodge them? Dodge them. Can you dodge them? Can you dodge them? Can you dodge them? Can you? We shall see. We shall see. A lot of things got going on. Got garnishing of student loans. You know what I'm saying? Taxes being cut. Jobs being laid off. Oh boy, stores gonna be empty soon. Small business ain't gonna be lasting soon with these products because products might be made here, but guess what? The other parts to make it is made where? Kim Lee got it, baby. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. I've seen content creators on here. There's one on here. And black chick, and she has a trucking company. And, I remember especially with the pandemic, she was like, oh, trucking would never, that's an industry that would never go anywhere. It could never be touched. We're making more money during this pandemic then, and that was a beautiful thing. But to see how God works, right? You see how the Father works, right? You can be touched. Your industry can be touched. People think my industry can't be touched. Your industry, it can be touched. You can be touched. Okay, that's why we need to pray. That's why we need to be able to listen. That's why we need to ask the Father what to do so that we won't be touched. Or if we touch this very slightly, or we thrive in it all, because people will thrive. People will thrive. Number one, people will thrive. There will be businesses that will be created. People will thrive, just like in every depression. There is wealth that is transferred. It's going to happen once again. And just like this depression 3.0 is going to be worse than the one of the 30s, the wealth transfer is going to be best, way greater than the 30s. So it's the same thing, but that comes with the raw, that comes with the countries battling each other, because that's y'all notice that accompanies every depression, right? You have the depression, you have the tariffs as back then in the 30s, you have the countries going head to head, beefing, and it's a lot of things that goes hand in hand. So if you go back there, you'll see what time it is, except this time it's going to be really bad, because for God to say it's going to be cannibalism, it's going to be really, really bad, because I don't remember was it cannibalism in the 30s? I don't recall that part in history class, but it's possible maybe they didn't report on. I don't know, but I know he said on this one, it's going to be cannibalism going on. Okay. So, it might be kind of good to kind of stay a little humble on this one. It might be kind of good to say, well, maybe my industry can be touched. So Father, help me, please. So my industry either is not touched or you protect me through it. Because what you got to understand is this octopus, as he showed me, this thing is an octopus spirit, baby. It's plenty of spirits, but the octopus spirit that he showed me, it's tentacles. It goes through and through. So one industry tied to another industry, tied to another industry, tied to another industry. And so it all falls down, right? It all falls down. One fall, the other one fall, the other one fall, the other one fall. Medicaid fall, the hospital. Like I already saw the thing. I was watching Lovely T channel. It was called Global Layoffs, I think. And the hospitals. And I know I've been seeing the hospitals closing. A lot of hospitals closing. These ain't even due to the tariffs yet. But imagine when the medicine stopped coming, because I've been seeing the nurses and stuff saying, oh my goodness, all our medicine comes from other countries. Our beds, our medical equipment, our radiology, our technical equipment, it comes from other countries. What are we going to do? You see what? So things can be touched. Things can be touched. So all that's going on, and they about to hit you with that student loan. They about to hit you with that student loan that you got. That Bill Cosby, one of the Freemasons, that he lured you to the slaughter. Right, for them degrees that ain't do you no good, because the only people who them degrees did some good for was lawyers and doctors, and I don't think too many other people, and that's because they must have degrees and licenses. But other people like myself, baby, I could have just picked up a book. I could have got a degree. I could have just picked up a book. But see, once again, back to the oppression, right? I couldn't have picked up a book because guess what? In order for me to prove myself, I had to show them a degree. You see how that works? But yet, before my time, I remember people in the same profession that I got a degree in, and they was doing it with no paperwork at all. Barely had a GED. They didn't even go to college. You see what I'm saying? And so, my mom, she worked for IRS, and she didn't have no degrees. I was looking at something a couple years ago, and you have to have like a bachelor's or something. I'm like, are you kidding me? My mom didn't have no freaking degree to go to no IRS. So you see how they play this system and make it harder and harder as time goes. And as a certain people demographic, the melanated ones, and specifically, as they try to tie up their bootstraps, they oppress them and make things worse and harder. And for the poor as well too, because y'all pretty much the same too. So don't be like, oh, it ain't just, yeah, y'all in the club too, baby. Y'all in the club too, okay? So I'm just saying, they just make it harder and harder and difficult and more difficult. And that's why God about to do what he about to do. Zechariah, I told you, read it, 6 and 7, I believe it was. Definitely 6. But I think it was 6 and 7, maybe 5 and 6, but definitely 6, where he said, yeah, y'all priests, y'all oppressed them. So now we gonna flip that thing. And I'm not gonna hear your cries. When the foot is on your neck, I ain't gonna hear you, okay? You can call for me all to the day long. So yeah, I'm just gonna be sitting back watching these things, as likewise you should, and sleep well, baby. You should sleep well, baby. Get your 8 hours or 6 hours or 12 hours of sleep in, like we always do. And just trust and lean on our Father and his understanding, okay? And he know what he doing. He know what he doing. And just trust and believe that he got your back. And that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, so let's sit back and let's relax and let's watch. And listen, pray for your enemies. Forgive your enemies, okay? I'm here. I ain't went nowhere. I'm here. I'm alive. And all the hoodoo, voodoo, witchcraft you think that you throw, baby. Just know this. Time is almost up, because witches are about to get theirs, and everybody that put money into the witches' hands, they about to get theirs too. But guess what? I'm still praying for you, baby. I'm praying for you, hoping that you don't have a reprobate mind and that you can be saved, because if not, then yeah, his judgment gonna fall on you, and it's not gonna be a pretty day in hell. And you'll be seeing it sooner than later. And that's all I'm going to say on that one. But that's it. I just wanted to say, look what's going on. I got so much that I want to say, but I don't want to make this too long. But we're living in those times, guys. We are living in those times. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got to say. Y'all have a beautiful, wonderful, and a most blessed day. And I'm going to catch you guys whenever I get back on here. Who knows? All right, I'm going. Peace.